Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the regular town meeting. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Today is 9 June. Time is 6 p.m. Clerk, please take the roll call vote.
Commissioner Brennan?
Here.
Commissioner Milligan?
Here.
Commissioner Raridan?
Here.
Commissioner Murillo?
Here.
Commissioner Taylor?
Here.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. For those that wish to join us, please stand for the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Almighty God, thank you for this day. Blessed be your glorious name, forever and ever. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of New Mexico and the Zia symbol of perfect friendship among united cultures.
Thank you, Steve. Okay, item B, approval of agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Milligan.
I would like to remove item H2. After speaking with IT, we're going to need some more time to work on that.
Okay. Do we have a second?
To clarify, you said remove?
Yes,
Or postpone?
postpone.
Okay.
Postpone. I'll second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, please say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Item C, public comment. First item up is Ms. Cheryl Hupperts.
Cheryl Hupperts, Edgewood. Commissioner Brennan, nobody gave you the email to wear black tonight.
It's spring.
Yeah. I just wanted to make a couple comments. On the JPAs, I watched the whole meeting last time. It was difficult. I do like the way that people were allowed to talk. I'd like to see that happen more in meetings. Sometimes it's 2 minutes is pretty limiting. Secondly, the one thing that I didn't hear anyone say is that no one asked the question, did Santa Fe get the last chance, did Santa Fe County get the last look at the last draft? And nobody asked that question whenever you voted on it. So I think it's really important to ask questions, ask questions, ask questions as a learning experience. The second thing I wanted to comment on is I feel like we still lack, our budget is still a little high in my opinion. I don't know if it's possible to do a little job combining right now until the budget gets better. You know, code enforcement has worked really hard and they've gotten a lot done when Valdez was here. You know, maybe we could halt that process a little bit and maybe the P&Z could take care of it if it was really a really bad situation. That's just a thought I had. We have the HR guy. I don't know if that's totally that we just hired, if that's a totally full-time position. Maybe he could take on other responsibilities. But I'd really like to see us watch the number of people we're hiring to see if we can keep that budget trimmed better. And you know, if we didn't do the code enforcement, we could save that marijuana money. Maybe could be used somewhere else. That's just some thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next up is Ms. Jean DeMarte.
Jean DeMarty, a registered voter for the town of Edgewood. I don't know what I'm more upset about, the fact that I found out how annexations were handled by the town. I mean, we're a democracy. We're supposed to have one person, one vote. But that's not how the the annexations were done. It was by whoever owned the most land could annex a whole neighborhood, and none of the individual landowners would know. That is the most common thing that's been trending on Nextdoor, is people getting annexed against their will and without even knowing about it. The other thing is that once again today, another subject is there's a new subdivision going in. I think it's like Stone Mountain or something like that. The neighbors didn't know about it until they started clearing for the roads. And it's off of a road that was a nice road, but recently got upgraded, so now that developer is going to benefit from my tax dollars. I'm worried about Church and Quail, because those are emergency evacuation routes for the older parts of town where we have smaller homes, more higher density, and those roads keep getting pushed aside, and we keep fixing East Venus, West Venus, you know, roads that are a lot nicer. You're fighting over Rainbow Road, which is a beautiful road, and yet we have people, if you go down Quail and it's raining and you have to get out, unless you got a four-wheel drive, you're not getting out away from that highway if there was ever an explosion on I-40 that involved chemicals and people had to go north. You can't go north in bad weather. And it's just so many things to be frustrated about. But the annexation really gets me, because people should know what's happening to their land, and they should know that all of a sudden they're part of Edgewood. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next person up is Ms. Deb Goldstein.
Hi, Deb Goldstein. I've been a resident here for 30-odd years. I just wanted to make a couple of comments because I was here last week for the last meeting. So I just wanted to understand this ordinance that we all talked about that was very heated last week, because I didn't understand, trying to get information and understanding why this ordinance was added. If the JPA had been signed, why was this ordinance needed? And the process that it went through, why wasn't the part of the gross receipts tax fund part of the JPA? And then I also wanted to know, did anything come up from the comment last week about doing some kind of emergency action about where we're going with this, and has there been a resolution on the JPA, and are we, you know, I really just want to know what the status is of our fire and EMS coverage, because that's like most important on my mind. I don't know about anybody else, but it's like really important on my mind. So, that's it.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And we do plan to cover all of those points this evening. Okay. And if I miss one, please raise your hand. Okay. I'll make sure we circle back to you. Thank you. Mr. Richard Baker. Okay.
Good evening. Jerry Powers, Edgewood. I want to thank Mayor Reardon and Commissioner Taylor for trying to start a new trend in transparency, which is really needed here in Edgewood. The default in payments and cancellation of the previous JPA with Santa Fe County never would have happened if these decisions to cut off payments weren't made behind the scenes. They were made out in public and with a vote. The common sense of the full commission would never have allowed it, nor would the common sense of the people, if it was brought out in public as it should have been. This was a completely avoidable disaster, but here we are, and I want to thank Mayor Reardon for rescuing the relationship with Santa Fe County after they were cut out of the process and restoring communication with them, which has resulted in what looks to be a consensus draft of edits that can be incorporated into the funding ordinance and would be a win-win for the town of Edgewood and Santa Fe County. Normally, it only takes a majority of the commission, 3 votes, to pass the measure. However, after reading through the draft ordinance and doing a little research, it will require 4 votes in this case to pass the measure. The reason is that anytime revenues are being pledged, GRT, it falls into a different category. And the state law requires 3/4 of the vote of the commission, which is 4. So what that means at the hearing is we need all hands on deck. And all of you will need to be in attendance, which can even happen by phone, in order to pass this measure and represent the people of your districts and the town of Edgewood. Anyone not attending is basically posting a default vote against passage of the ordinance, which is so vital to the health and well-being of the town. The honorable thing to do is show up, be accountable, and represent the people with your vote. I hope you will all show up and vote in favor of passing this ordinance to restore reliable fire and emergency medical service, which is the most fundamental and basic health and welfare responsibility of this commission to the town of Edgewood. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay, I don't have anyone else on the list. Okay. Yes, ma'am, come on up.
Thank you. Teresa Benton, resident of Edgewood. I want to talk about the World Championship Blacksmith that is coming to Edgewood the 24th through the 27th of June. And, you know, if you think that our chief has good arm muscles, you will see some that rival. We're not going to compete with the chief. But this is a group of people that mix artistry and athleticism, and they're from all over the world. Take a straight piece of iron and pound it into a shape and have it judged down to the smallest micrometer. They bring money in. I see them at Smith's, Walmart, and it's a great group of people. It's a good family activity. It's where Rainbow Road goes into the air park. It's 47 Rainbow Road, and it's just a fun thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That does sound like fun. Appreciate that. Thank you all for the public comments. Okay, we're moving on to the consent agenda. Need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Murillo.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Okay,
We have a second.
all right. Any discussion on the consent agenda, gentlemen? Okay, and we'll take the vote. All in favor of approval of the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, takes us to item E, matters from commissioners. We can start with Commissioner Brennan.
All right, first of all, I'd like to start off with a little bit of clarification here. Fire services never was canceled, so you can't restore something that wasn't canceled. It's going to be continued, just so everybody has that clear. It was never canceled. Annexation, this commission, ever since it's been here, has never annexed any property. The only property they've been looking at annexing is Echo Ridge, once we get the chance to go ahead and purchase it. All the annexations were done by previous administrations. I think that's even before the Hill administration, if I remember correctly. All right, with that out of the way, just want to say thank you to everybody who went and participated with the carnival. It looks like it was a great success. A lot of people out there having a lot of fun. I even went out there for a day, for a little while myself, and it was quite enjoyable. A lot of people having a good time, had a little bit of carnival food. Probably shouldn't have, but oh well. And once again, I'd like to thank staff for all the wonderful work that you guys have been doing, especially through all the issues that we've been dealing with. And I thank you for your dedication to the job. And I yield.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Brennan. Commissioner Milligan.
I'm happy to be back and looking forward to getting this ordinance in place and making sure that our services continue for the public. That's all I have for this evening.
Thank you. We're glad you're back and feeling better.
Thank you.
Commissioner Reel.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to be very clear. Respectful civic participation is essential. But harassment, especially targeting families of staff, is unacceptable and will not be tolerated in this community. I apologize to Clerk Witt for the harassment of her family members. I'm sorry, I do apologize for that.
Thank you.
My motivations are to protect the town I grew up in, where I'm raising my family. I do think transparency and truth are important, and I want to set the record straight tonight. I want to address some claims directly that were made about me. The first claim is the claim that I removed public comment from the agenda. That is false. I did not call the June 2nd meeting. I did not draft the agenda. I had no role in deciding its contents. What I did do on record was warn that adding public comment to a posted agenda could violate the Open Meetings Act. When public comment was open anyway, I stepped away to avoid participating in potential legal violation. That is not obstruction, that is just compliance with state law. The second allegation regarding the town clerk. I've been accused of directing the town clerk to remove public comment from the agenda. I want to walk through that fact by fact using the actual records. My first question is, where's the communication? Where's the email? Where's the phone calls? Where's the instruction? The record is clear. There was no communication, none, between myself and the town clerk regarding that agenda. So there's no evidence to support that allegation. My second question is, did the clerk deviate from practice or follow it? In an account of the events the town clerk provided to the commission, we found the majority of special meetings had no public comments. The documents show clearly public comment is not standard practice in a special meeting, which means the clerk did not remove anything. She just followed the town's established pattern. My third question is, what actually happened that weekend? The town clerk responded immediately, worked outside normal hours, canceled personal plans with her family, and met statutory posting requirements, and followed established practices. My final point on that is there is no evidence of direction. There's no deviation from past practice. What there is a documented record of a professional acting under time pressure, following an established pattern, and fulfilling her responsibilities properly. So the real question is, if there was no communication, no deviation, why is the claim being made at all? Resolution 2025-002 requires at least 48 hours for special meeting agenda submissions. So if that process wasn't followed, it's not the failure by the clerk. It's a failure in requester not following the rules in the first place. The next claim, that I stopped communication with Santa Fe. That claim is directly contradicted by the documented record. The emails show continuous active coordination between town council, county council, and DFA working through revisions and legal compliance. They were coordinating, they were revising, they were negotiating a draft ordinance. Communication did not stop. It never stopped. The claim that I improperly influenced or altered the ordinance. Just to clarify here, let's be clear, the JPA was not altered, and it remains the same today as it has been since Santa Fe County and Commissioner Raridan signed it. The record shows exactly how changes occurred for the draft ordinance. It was formal. It was a formal legal exchange between the town attorney and the county attorney. My role was that every commissioner is supposed to do: ask questions, raise concerns, and protect the town. And that brings me to the most important point here. Here's the original draft ordinance that was being worked on. Town manager, if you have that document available, I made copies for everyone so that they could review the original drafted ordinance that I was questioning. Please take copies. So what was said then versus what is being claimed now? The record shows what was acknowledged at the time of the negotiations. In a direct email, Mayor Raridan told me, and I paraphrase here, "Glad you brought up concerns. It was way too complicated. The revised product satisfies the JPA requirements, is much easier to understand." So let's be honest about that. When the concerns improved the ordinance, they were valid. Now that politics have changed, those same concerns are being called improper. Both cannot be true. The written record speaks for itself. Town Manager Hamilton, can you please share the copy of the final ordinance that Santa Fe County approved and the email that I received validating my contributions to that? Again, copies available to the public. So what does the approved ordinance actually say? This isn't a matter of opinion, it's in the document. The ordinance clearly states the town's obligation is limited to the amount required to meet its obligations under the agreement. It is paid only from GRT fire service funds, and it is not a general debt, and no other town revenues are pledged. That is exactly the structure I advocated for, because it protects the town. Furthermore, on June 9th, this morning, DFA General Counsel George Hoplite confirmed in writing that the ordinance tracks the JPA and complies with statutory requirements, and he does not recommend any substantive changes. This independent confirmation validates the structure that I advocated for and demonstrates the town's approach was legally sound from the beginning. Transparency is important. Commissioner Reardon was copied on communications and was aware of these discussions. And in multiple instances, I asked that information be shared with the full commission because decisions belong in the public, not behind closed doors. Commissioner Reardon was fully informed throughout the ordinance process, was included in all communications, and expressed his support for the final version. He also stated that the legal liaison structure was the appropriate channel for this work and that he did not see the need for a special meeting. The standard ordinance process was followed. To address a related claim directly, certain internal communications have been referenced without full context. Those communications occurred as a part of an internal discussion involving legal counsel regarding how to proceed, and they reflect considerations about timing, coordination, and process. Not any intent to stop communication. What is clear from the full record is that communication with Santa Fe County was ongoing, coordination continued through the town attorney and appropriate channels, and at no point was communication halted or directed to stop. My position has consistently been that communication should occur through coordinated, appropriate channels so the town speaks with one clear, unified voice. And I want to make sure that the public has the full context of that. So in closing, here's the facts. I did not control the agenda. I did not direct the clerk. I did not stop communications. What I did do is raise legitimate concerns that were acknowledged at the time, push for legal compliance, protect the town from unnecessary risk, and requested that commissioners be fully informed. That is not misconduct. That is exactly what responsible governance looks like. And I'll continue to do it, regardless of the narrative being pushed today. Finally, I want to clearly state for the record, I advocated that the town should not terminate the original joint powers agreement, the original JPA that we had. And instead, that it remain in place while we proceed through litigation, as we had legitimate claims to address. That was my position at that time, and I would ask the town manager and town clerk to confirm that was, in fact, the position I consistently expressed during those discussions. Town manager.
I do recall on numerous occasions that you encouraged us to stay in litigation and let it go to court.
Town clerk, Witt.
I also recall during those discussions that you requested to keep the JP in place through litigation in court.
Mr. Chair, I yield my time.
Excuse me?
I yield my time.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Taylor? I'll pass. Okay, thank you. Okay, folks, we did have a couple of updates that we wanted to provide to you on the ordinance, why it was required. It was mentioned in the JPA that it was a requirement that Santa Fe County had to approve that ordinance to execute the financial part of the JPA. So that's why that was required. And to give you an update on the emergency declaration as stated, we ran that through our attorney, and our attorney responded back to us and said that the legal requirement is it has to be clear and present and immediate danger, an active emergency such as a wildfire, flood, natural disaster of some sort. And we also didn't qualify due to having scheduled events and timelines in place already with the ordinance. However, in the unlikely event that something disrupts the process outside of that timeline, or if we're close to that timeline, then we can declare an emergency within 24 hours to have an emergency meeting or whatever we need to do to declare that emergency. So that is the update on the emergency order. And one other thing I wanted to mention, that I did speak to another commissioner in reference to some feedback we received about proper decorum I agree with that it needs to happen, needs to be kept more constructive and not as personal. It's my job to do this, and I pledge to place more focus on that in the future if we get to that point. Just to clarify on a couple of points that I heard just now, there was some documents provided to us on special meetings, but a lot of those documents were closed session, which we do not include public comments on closed session typically. But if you went back a little further, there was about a mixed bag of special meetings with comments and some without. So it was a little bit of both in that regard. And also, I wanted to make sure everyone understood that we did discuss this in the last meeting in reference to after the new JPA, the new ordinance was, I did agree with Commissioner Murillo in regards to it was actually getting long and drawn out. A matter of fact, that was one of the things I discussed with the county manager and asked them if they could provide us a scaled down version of that met the requirements of the JPA and that they would approve. And the JPA requires that they approve that. So the reason we got that email from Santa Fe County attorney was because they didn't know what the updates were. We hadn't provided them a copy. And I suggested that we not shut off the communications with. Matter of fact, I have the email here, the context of it, which is what I specifically said. I believe a courtesy notice to Santa Fe County stating the ordinance is completed and ready for posting is reasonable and responsible and demonstrates we are conducting business in good faith. And then I made another suggestion for some language to talk to their attorney with, that our attorney had a canned statement for. So wherever the disconnect was, it happened, or we wouldn't have received that notice from Santa Fe County stating that it was going to be terminated if they didn't approve it. So I did talk to the county manager. We got some revisions to our existing JPA that we had started. And again, I agreed with that. It was too long, it was too complicated, it was hard to understand. And they made a number of concessions for us, and we've got a good product now. The update, we can talk more about it in the context of the actual subject line, but it appears Santa Fe County is 100% on board with the minor changes. We only had 3, and DFA has approved that. And it looks like everything's good to go for the 16th, for us to vote on it. So. And ma'am, did I answer all your questions?
I think so. I guess I'm still just a little confused because of what was posted or what we were able to see. We had gotten in the agenda, what is the red line ordinance, and what the problem Santa Fe County had with that ordinance, because I don't think I saw the original one. And if it was just a matter of that they didn't get it, why did you receive this letter saying that they couldn't approve it, or had like 4 or 5 points in that letter that they couldn't agree with that ordinance? And so I guess I'm just still a little confused about that.
Yes, ma'am. And to Commissioner Rios' point, it did go back and forth for weeks. And there was extensive changes, and they were negotiating back and forth to make adjustments, and it went back and forth. And until it got to the point where it was very, very difficult to follow and understand. And then that's when we suggested it gets trimmed down, and then we wound up with a reduced version of it, which we all approved on and voted. And then at that point, it was submitted at some time to Santa Fe County for them to look at. And then that's when, I think on a Friday, it came back stating that list of things, and that's when I called the special meeting due to the fact that they had mentioned that they had not approved this, and they had numerous problems with it. And I felt like we needed to get it addressed. That's why I called the special meeting.
So has it been approved, or is
It'll be voted on by the commission next week on the 16th during that special meeting. That'll be the public hearing. So we open that up for public comments. In addition to that, there'll be sworn hearing. People can speak on that at the hearing. Anything that they see, any questions they have, or any comments at all. And then once that's done, then we vote on it as a commission. And at this point, the attorneys see no other issues with it. DFA has said it was good to go. So I think we are right there at the home stretch now. We should be, another week, we should be there. Okay. Yes, would you please, ma'am?
Just a real quick question. Why are we waiting till the 16th to vote on it? If everything is approved, if everybody's agreed, why are we waiting till the 16th?
It has to
Mr.
be
Chair.
posted for 2 weeks, ma'am.
So, well, yeah, I know there's a posting, so we're going to start posting it now and then have the meeting? So walk me through the time frame on this, because I'm a little lost.
No, it was already posted with the Santa Fe New Mexican
Gotcha?
last week, and the
Okay.
time will run out on the 15th actually will be the day. And then the
That's all I
Mr. Chair.
wasn't sure, I wasn't aware that it had been posted, and that's why I was questioning.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good question.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Murillo.
to clarify and answer your question a little bit better, I had requested the special meeting for the ordinance to be heard, and that's the one that we put out, and that's the one that Santa Fe came back with the edits on, so we already started the clock on it. Because I was looking at the calendar and realizing 14 plus 1 days, that pushes us pretty far. So the goal was to get it,
Where are we in the process? And I was not aware that it had already been published and that we were already along that road.
we're already a whole week ahead. Yeah, that was the goal when I called that meeting.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, ma'am, that moves us on to item F, reports. Town Clerk Treasurer.
Thank you, Commission Chair. Commissioners, I just want to provide a few quick updates. The interim budget was submitted to the New Mexico Department of Finance and Authority on June 1st, so we're in compliance with that deadline for the interim budget. We are awaiting for their approval on interim budget. We should receive that before July 1. That'll be the budget we can operate on until the final budget's approved at the end of July. I've been working really diligently on catching up on some back filings that I have found from the Finance Department. I found that we were behind on the state withholding filings dating back to 2024, so I've been diligently working on getting those caught up, as well as getting revenue entries caught up and bank reconciliations done. Those hadn't been done since February of this year, so I've been working really hard to get us caught up on those things now that they've been discovered. Another item that we're working diligently on getting caught up on is the para reporting and the VOIA reporting that was also behind from prior staff members. So I'm working on getting those caught up as well from about March till now. So just an update on those things. We are still working with the grant plant on developing department SOPs. I've had meetings with the grant plant and departments pertaining to the finance department SOP, HR department SOP, and the grants SOP, so we're making good progress on those. I actually have a rough draft from the grant plant on the grants department SOP. So now that town manager is back, we'll go over that together and we'll get back with grant plant on feedback, but those should be helpful to these departments going forward and help alleviate some of these issues of past due filings, et cetera. I did hear some concern at the last meeting about YouTube videos and commission videos that have seemed to be disappearing from online. I did check with IT. These videos are not disappearing. They are still on YouTube. However, it's a little tricky on YouTube. If you just go to the home page of YouTube, the videos on there are pretty sporadic, hit and miss. You don't have all of the dates. But if you go to the live tab, that's where you can see all of the videos in sequential order. So IT has confirmed that those videos are not in fact missing. They are available. You just have to go to the live tab of YouTube. So if the public has any further questions, please feel free to reach out about that. I think James and Adam would be happy to provide clarity. But if you go to the live tab, they should all be there. And then in closing from my comments, I did just kind of want to set the record straight as well and kind of reiterate what Commissioner Murillo said as far as the special meeting agenda and leaving off public comment. It was never my intention to not let the public be heard. I was following past practice of special meetings and my training with DOJ and the Attorney General's office. And so the town does not have an established pattern of having public comment on the commission meetings, as the commissioners have already referred to. But I do just want to say that I do take my role as clerk very seriously. I did take it very seriously to make sure that that special meeting was posted in a timely fashion. I first found out about the meeting at 8:32 p.m. on Friday night. It was followed up by emails and phone calls and text messages at about 9:30 and 9:45 on Saturday morning. And I had the agenda posted online by 10:30 and posted here at Town Hall by 12:13. Again, that did require that I canceled plans with my family on a Saturday outside of hours, which I understand happens with this position, but it was never an intent to leave off public comment to not allow the public to be heard. So just to clarify. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Chief Frost?
Mr. Chair, Commission Chair, thank you. I don't have any new business. However, Clerk Witt just talked about the interim budget. I do have a few red flags that I'd like to raise with my PD budget. So with that, I have a meeting scheduled with Town Manager and Ms. Witt tomorrow. I think there were a few vital things left off on my PD budget that I think if I would have been afforded the ability to be present to represent that, then I don't think they would have been left off. But there's some crucial items on there that I have to stick up for. So we're going to have a meeting about that tomorrow, and then, so I appreciate that. So that's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. Mr. Hamilton, Town Manager?
Mr. Commission Chair, I'm going to make it quick because I want to give some minutes back to the clerk, because she has something she wants to also get on the record. New Mexico, so just real quickly, New Mexico True, that's a grant we've had. It's a tourism grant. Linda Burke set it up. She left us in good shape for that, so I signed the paperwork on that again today. She had that prepped and ready to go, and they awarded us $4,800, and the town will have to do $2,300 match in it, but it's done a lot for the town. The carnival, they came in yesterday and gave us a check for $13,000, which was not bad. We'll take any dollar we can get coming in. And I really want to extend a thank you to the school district because they allowed us. I failed to get a permit to use the lot here for parking, and they were gracious enough to let it go, so that was my fault. And they took care of it for us, and appreciate them being a good partner. Staff, and particularly our parks individual and the clerk treasurer as well, has been working on Edgewood 7 grant, and we were just about to lose that bad boy, and they saved it, and thanks to DOT for letting us save it, and that saved us from having to cough up $600,000 and give back to the feds on grant money. I want to real quickly, and Josh, just make it real quick if you're available. Is Josh available? What roads are we doing and when? It's coming up quickly, and I'd like everybody to know. I believe we're real close to getting a couple roads done.
Good evening. Well, I just want to give the update and everything on Nugent Road and V Hill Road. We are putting the first lift on Nugent Road on Monday morning at 8 o'clock. Second lift to go Tuesday, then Wednesday and Thursday we'll complete V Hill Road as well. So those should be taken care of all next week. So.
And we kind of want people to stay off of them a little bit if they can, find a different way. But I encourage you to drive on them in the meantime until construction next week because they've turned out really nice roads being prepped. And that's all I have, and I'll turn it back over to the clerk, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Commission Chair and Commissioners. I want to apologize. We did receive a public comment via email that needs to be noted for the record. So that was forwarded to the Commission for their review. This was from Ms. Sabine Price. And just a quick summary of her public comment, that she had some concerns and questions about the movement to unincorporate the town and questioned if it's really the best solution. To her recollection, Santa Fe County hasn't come to make any promises or come to any of our meetings. She was concerned about losing local services such as police, animal control, library, and road. And then she wanted some answers to if the county would keep those services in place if the town were to unincorporate, and that she would like to have those answers before joining any kind of movement. She also asked about things such as what would happen to Echo Ridge Park, dumpster days, the YES program, other programs that the town facilitates, and then wondered if the other two counties, Torrance and Bernalillo, had been part of any of the discussions to unincorporate.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Em. Okay. Anything else,
No,
folks? Okay, thank you.
I think we're good here.
All right, thank you. Okay. Moving on to item G, ordinance resolutions and zoning. The first item up is call for public hearing on updated ordinance 2026-00B, fire restriction and wildlife risk reduction ordinance.
Commission Chair, Commissioners, you may remember this from the last meeting, and I think you asked it to be tabled at Commissioner Taylor's suggestion, and I agreed. And I think one of the concerns at that time, and Commissioner Taylor, correct me if I'm wrong here, but you questioned whether we really needed this ordinance when we had a state.
Well, just to clarify, the the governor or no, was it cabinet?
I'm sorry, what?
Somebody at the state level came down with their own fire ordinance or
Yes, the state forester.
State forester came down.
Laura McCarthy.
And at first, we had 30 seconds to review it, and this was being posted on the meeting. And so within there, just state level municipality, they rule us, the echelon of governments. And so I thought it would behoove us to table it, to read that, and then right as we tabled it, we postponed it. There was a specific line in there that said, except municipalities.
And it does, sir.
That does not apply to us, so that's why this is back on there. And that was the whole
Correct.
reason as to why I asked for it to be postponed.
Correct, you're absolutely correct. And so it's before you, it's in your packet. I know that Commissioner Murillo, you might have one item in it you would just as soon seen stricken, possibly, if I remember correctly.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Reel.
The only thing that I saw in here that I had an issue with was the smoking, about people smoking. I can't get behind that. Everything else in it I was fine with, but the smoking, I'm not sure that we should be in the business of telling people when and where they can smoke. That was the only issue I had.
Okay.
Okay. We'll need a roll call vote to
move to public hearing,
move to a public hearing.
minus the one item, if you want to approve it that way.
Unless we want to go back to discussion on that.
So this motion tonight would be just to publish for the public
Right.
hearing, and then it would be the 14-day timeframe. The commission would still have the opportunity to get feedback from the public in public hearing, as well as provide your own input for the finalized ordinance.
Right, 14 plus 1 days.
Okay. So we'll need a motion.
Mr.
for-
Chair.
Commissioner Brennan?
I move to call for a public hearing on the updated ordinance 2026-00 Bravo, the Fire Restriction and Welfare Risk Reduction Ordinance, for the draft to be posted immediately and to have it heard by the 25th of June. Would that give you enough time?
We may need a little additional time because it takes the paper a little time to publish. So if we could maybe put an extra 3 to 5 days in there for the paper to publish, it would be great, sir.
All right, so let's make that the 30th of June.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing no further discussion, please take the roll call vote.
Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Reardon?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, item H, new business.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner
sorry.
Taylor.
My bad. I didn't mean to. Anyhow, where did James go?
He was just there.
Is there a way we could get that projector on? Please?
switches right over there. You gotta hit the dim and hold, and put your finger on it until you get down to where you want it.
Okay, well, James gets set up here. I have, back in Chili's, I believe, when, I forget what that was called, but a little Meet the Commissioner, that's what it was called, Meet the Commissioners. One of the things that I talked about was basically exactly this. In the budget workshop meeting, I talked about this as a tool of transparency, accountability, absolutely everything. And by no means, James took the vision and to me, blew me out of the water. So the goal, the objective here is to July 1, July 1, when our DFA approved budget, where we have minimal budget mods, this is live for everybody to track and follow. And like I've talked about in prior meetings, accountability on both sides of the aisle. So this is a tool for you, the people, to constantly review, check, and take a look at, to hold the governing body accountable. And so from there, I do have like 2 questions I think you and I went over. But if you can just do your thing, take it slow, and go into great depth and show all the, just, yeah, do your thing. I appreciate all your efforts on this too, by the way.
Thank you, Commissioner. So this is the budget transparency tool that IT here has been building. I don't have a script, so I apologize. I'm doing this entirely off the cuff. This is what you see when you first come to the budget transparency tool. We've got a donut chart here that shows the proportions of all funds and where they're allocated into the individual funds. You can click into any individual slice and that'll drill you down further to individual departments and their allocation within. This is spending, by the way. There's a number of different views. This is spending, that's the default view. And you start in all funds, you can drill down into any individual fund, and then you're seeing how the spending is allocated per department. From there, you can drill down even further to, categories. And from there, even further to individual accounts. And then the deepest level you can get to is, it's not quite individual transactions, but it's groups of transactions. So this is the drill down path we just followed. To get back to the top level view, just go back to all funds here. You can look at individual months. I only have the last 3 fiscal years of transaction data in here so far. We don't have it connected live to our budget software that we use, or our accounting software that we use internally yet. We do hope to get that live connection. Right now it depends on a human being manually uploading reports in order to feed this data.
What do you need to have it automatic?
I haven't gotten a call back from our software vendor yet, but there's, from what I understand, there's an API license that we need to purchase annually that would let us connect for live data feed.
Do you know the cost of that budget?
I don't, unfortunately.
Would we have to do anything to get that? Like as a commission, or is that your jurisdiction?
It depends on the cost of that particular thing. If it's under $20,000, it does not require commission approval. If it's over $20,000, it would.
Cool. And then and then just to clarify, you're working on prior fiscal years?
I was able to pull in today 3 years of just transaction data. I wasn't able to get the budget versus actual or the position reports pulled in yet, but there are, like I say, there's 3 years worth of just expenditure data already in the system. So going back to July 2023, which I think is about when we cut over from the previous accounting software, I believe. I wasn't here at that time. But I went as far back as I could get done today. There's also a revenue view. It's just, on the spending view, this shows a trend line over whatever selected period you choose up here. So here's the last 30, it should be 36. It's saying 34, but approximately 3 years of revenue versus expenditure on a trend line. Some interesting patterns I've gotten to see while I'm putting this together. Looking forward to folks being able to check it out themselves. But anyways, here's the revenue view, and again, you can drill down to see what the largest sources of revenue are versus smallest. And I believe that should also go all the way down to the transaction level. Then there's the budget versus actual. This one shows what was allocated compared to what has been spent per department. There is some drill down capabilities here as well. I don't know that it gets quite to, this one doesn't go to transaction level, but I don't know that that would make sense for this kind of view anyways to go that deep. This one's one of my favorites. This shows you the flow of funds that come into the town. So you can look, taxes are our biggest revenue source, and they flow through and get split up amongst the departments according to budget allocations. And then this just shows even further how they get broken down in those departments.
And this is all just click back. There's no input taken. This is all, hopefully the goal is to be tied into the live data with Tyler for the API key.
Yeah, this is all based on what's in our accounting system.
I'm just getting at the fact that it's very simple.
Yep.
And it's as simple as the website and the URL, and so you'll be able to do that. So my overall goal was simplicity. I think you and I agreed.
Yep. Want to make it easy to use.
Tied into live data for the future, maybe having departments using this to track their budgets and to have financial meetings with all of you live here on this and try to incorporate it that way. I mean, that's a broader discussion at a later time. And then the final thing that you and I talked about is how do we lock this down so that way, I have a year and 5 months left. And I don't know about them, but if you're gone and other people are gone, and how do we secure this via policy or whatever it may be, so that way will always be public knowledge and on the webpage, and if it were to ever try to be taken down, they would know first.
Well, as far as ensuring the data stays up to date, getting that API license in place would enable us to connect the data as a live feed, and as long as the accounting function continues to happen, then the data should be accurate. As far as changes to the website, I would think that would need to be a legislative policy change to ensure that it stays in place permanently. But
do you have to do anything on like a monthly, if we were to get it live linked, would you have to do anything on like a monthly basis to maintain it? Basically, if you were to leave, does this stay?
Yeah, no, there's nothing dependent on me for this. The server that it lives on is located in a town facility, and it's backed up to a local backup appliance as well as the cloud on an hourly basis.
Sweet.
And
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Reel.
Commissioner Taylor and James. So thank you for explaining what the data set that this is drawing off of. My question is, so will you be beta testing it, especially with maybe your folks that you've been collecting emails from, to have access to this, start looking through it, start comparing and contrasting if information is being uploaded correctly, And with that, the final question is, obviously, I think this probably should live on our website, but what's the anticipated date of this going live? And will it have a reporting ticket for issues that people are noticing, right? Because I think that would make sense, like, hey, this doesn't look right, what's going on? But also, I think it's important to, as if it goes live before it's all set and done, I think it'll be important to put a disclaimer like, hey, this is in
Beta.
yeah, beta. So, a lot of
This is
questions are
actually
outside.
live and accessible to the public right now. We just need to
Yeah.
point them to the address. But yes, I would feel like it's fair to say it's still under development. I've spent quite a few hours over the last few weeks building it to the point it's at now. Does that mean it's done? Probably not. As far as reporting of issues, there's already, I believe, a report an issue form on the current website. If we end up moving forward with the new website that I'm also working on, that certainly would include issue reporting capabilities. So,
And to
Very cool.
touch other two comments, yes, like Mary, met Misty and I was excited, I showed her. And then I think the point of this is do exactly what you said. Please, everybody out there listening, go on this, dive into it, get questions, email, call me, whatever. Mary is an example. I will meet with you, whatever questions you have, and we will review everything. So that's the point of this is, again, for everybody to take a look and view it. And your other question was July 1st, or your date. I hope I would like for it to align with our new budget, so that way this rolls and transitions into 2026, 2027. That's my vision. And to touch on the beta level of the software, I think, I'm a millennial, sorry. AI is really, really cool. Because I use Gemini, ChatGPT, and Perplexity every single day of my life. So the greatness that we have is James has an incredible understanding of this as well and can code this and do all this stuff. And so this is just a tool to expand from. So this, if we want to define it as beta, but I think it's going to remain as a beta forever because I think
the Google approach.
Yeah.
Everything's always in beta forever.
Exactly. We can use this to go, we see this issue. Okay, what can we do real quick on this level and to make that expedite it, make it speedy, whatever it may be, correct and accessible to everybody. So I personally see that always being a working progress. That's my vision. Budget.edgewood-newmexico.gov. Right? Can you type it up on the screen real quick? Or just blow it? Budget.edgewood dash NM November Mike .gov. Golf Oscar Whiskey Victor. Yes. Yes. 2026 was, well,
Yeah, this is the last month of fiscal '26.
can you go back so I can see that real quick?
Sorry, I'm having a real hard time hearing the question.
She was asking about, somehow it was showing a 4. So, were you there at the budget workshop, ma'am? Okay, so technically, yes, for this year, it was a negative $3.5 million deficit. We had expected revenue of around $9 million. There was a DFA-approved budget at 12.5-ish, something like that, and that's also what we operated on. If you were to compare DFA budget to what the town operated on, it was a deficit or a surplus. It's government, so it's within thousands, 10,000, I don't know the exact number, but it's within an acceptable margin according to the government. not for you individually if they're creditors and stuff. Sorry, gotta clarify that. But then once you account for actual revenue, revenue was around 9 million, so the 12.5 to 9 million, that's a $3.5 million deficit. That happened. So going forward for 2026, 2027, we did 10.6 with an expected revenue of 10.6 as a balance. There was budget cuts, which as Chief Frost brought up, there's concerns that we're still working through, but we eliminated that deficit.
But can you go back to that screen that you showed the wavy lines? Fiscal year 26? It was the one you had up while we were talking at the very end.
There was something that said 4. That.
That one. So if I'm reading that right, if this is loading in all your information, we had about 10 million in revenue, 15 million in spending, and we're gonna need just under 5 million draw.
So if I can clarify here, this is showing what the adopted budget was for FY26 that was entered into the accounting system. So this isn't the actuals, this is the adopted budget that was entered into Tyler. So that's where it's showing that they budgeted more in expenditures than revenues within the accounting software.
Can you define both adopted and just further define that, I guess?
Can we see what the actuals were?
This right here is the budget versus actual. And I'm trying to get it back to, it's not showing, oh, I need to drill back up. There we go. This is budget versus actual for fiscal 26 year to date.
So we have the revenue section, that's correct, so we are, have we overspent our revenue?
Currently, we've got 12 million spent of 15 million budgeted.
How does that relate to what we brought in?
That shows the deficit that Commissioner Taylor was just talking about with the 3 point some odd million dollars, that we did have an over expenditure in FY26, yes.
My bad. And so, yeah, please look into this, find your questions. The more feedback we get, it's only gonna benefit this, by the way. If you find something, note your flow of what you clicked, how you got there, and go, is this correct or whatever, email James and I, and we'll figure it out, fix it, whatever it may be. But it'll take time and eyes to make it as perfect as humanly possible, because we are technically directing a robot.
And there's also some anomalies in here that we've surfaced putting this together. Somewhere at some point in the books, I believe it was in February of 2024, somebody seems to have allocated $4 million into an account for wastewater. And Misty and I are fairly confident that doesn't actually exist.
Yeah.
So it's a bookkeeping error. And those kinds of things are visible with good data visualization like that.
Yep.
So, like, let me show you guys. Here's that imaginary $4 million. We didn't receive a $4 million deposit. It's a bookkeeping entry, probably erroneously created. And
this is a prime example of take a look and
Yep.
ask questions, please.
Yeah,
'Cause that's
definitely.
only gonna
Yeah, this
better
is a
that's
tool
only going
to
to better the town.
facilitate conversation and enable us to do better.
Yeah. No.
Oh, and if you want to download the actual files that this data is built from, the reports link here, that is where you can get the PDFs and spreadsheets that are imported to generate these views here. Again, there's not a full set of these in here yet. This is all preliminary. The multiple years of transactions. Those are, I mean, if you want to IPRO them, I can get them to you, but they're not visible in here at this time. But this is all from live data that's, not live, it's all the data that's in our official accounting software. So.
And do you see this being a good tool for you and your department?
Definitely. There's a whole other internal facing side that I'm not showing here right now. It probably needs a lot more work, but it is geared specifically towards department heads to have easy visualization for tracking and management of their individual department budgets. But the data there will tie directly into this public facing side. It's also going to have a system to facilitate requests and allocations, and so this is meant to be a complete financial management and visibility solution to enable us to do better financially.
I'm surprised you can't read lips, Kelly.
Sorry.
You're fine. Have you guys met at all regarding this? Just out of curiosity, like using it, maybe implementing it as an interior tool per department or anything? I know you've been gone, Kelly, so I'm not, I guess, more for Misty.
So James and I have actually met several times about this and talking about the different possibilities to use it internally. So it's definitely a tool that we could use for department heads. We've also talked about just kind of tightening that up a little bit as well and having, whether it be myself or the finance manager, send out some kind of monthly reports to the departments just so that there's a couple of different paths for them to review their budget.
Cool. Jean, I saw your hand raised. Can you go to roads department real quick, please?
Where the heck is roads? That ain't right. Okay. Municipal street. Yeah, see, that's
Well, that's for this past month.
probably not quite right.
Can you go to this year for it?
There we go. But for some reason it's shown as sanitation solid waste.
Sanitation and solid waste.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious why that says sanitation. Yeah. We're good. Just, it's a tool, this is a learning curve. It's gonna take tightening up data and
It
finding.
can help us, it can also help us to find errors in how the books might have been kept
Yeah.
previously. I don't think sanitation and sanitation and solid waste belongs under municipal street, but I'm also not an accountant or a bookkeeper, but.
Are there any more questions? I just wanted everybody, I was pretty excited about this because I've visioned this, and so, or I've been talking about it for a minute. I just think it's cool. I think it's sweet. I think, could you imagine if the federal government did this? CIA. What's this black fund? Yeah.
Redacted.
Yeah, redacted.
For
Commissioner
folks that
Taylor?
are a little more, that want to go a little deeper, there's also some advanced filtering available. You can group it by different types of
Oh, I guess that's
filters.
the other cool thing, is you can see our vendor list. And I know there's a discussion of actually seeing like who checks were cut out to vendor-wise and all that stuff. So then there's that full transparency there.
Commissioner Taylor? Had a quick question on, this looks very comprehensive, and as we work our way through it, is there a mechanism, like you said, AI, to do an automatic update when you put input to it? How does that work?
There's not really any AI involved in the actual operation of the software, just the building of it. But the API that we keep, the license that we've mentioned a couple of times, that would enable continuous live updating of the data. Currently, it does depend on a human being actually generating and exporting the reports from the accounting system and then importing it into this system. So, but we have our eyes on automating that whole pipeline.
Okay. Do you expect like a monthly or weekly update?
Right now, my intention is for the reports to be uploaded monthly.
Okay.
Yeah, I've only got it partial for April, and then again also partial for May, but my vision is that it happens monthly on a schedule. As soon as the previous month is completed and the books are closed, then we can export those reports and feed them into this.
I know this was discussion only, so I assume somebody is just going to try to find the API cost. Okay, copy. Cool. Any more questions? Okay. That's all I got.
Okay. Thank you. Commissioner Taylor?
Hey, Mr. Chair, I do have one question.
Commissioner Brennan?
Is this something we have copyrights on that we can, once you get it finally perfected, we could sell it to other municipalities?
Sell it to other municipalities? Another revenue stream, I support it.
You
For
put a heck of a lot of
$2.2
work into
million.
this.
All right, if there are no other questions, we'll move on to item 3, progress report on fire and EMS JPA ordinance and upcoming public hearing. Just to provide a little bit more depth on the question that was raised a little bit earlier, so that we're nearing the final step, which will happen on the 16th via a special meeting, and that's when the commission will vote on it. As it was mentioned earlier, we must have a 3/4 majority vote to approve the ordinance, which means it's really important that everybody's here, and if one of us is sick, we've got to commit to calling in. And if there is an absence, it means it'll result in a nay vote with the way this is structured, and this is law. So we have a duty to the town to be here at the most important day in the history, and I have to commend Commissioner Milligan for showing up, even he's uncomfortable. He did it, and I suspect that that's kind of the way we have to do things, so thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
And then after the vote, it takes 5 days for it to become a matter of record. After that, so it should be by the next town meeting on the 23rd, it should be finalized and everything goes back into play just like it was. Like Commissioner Brennan said, we haven't had a disruption in service. It's been continuous, and this will continue it and lock it in for another 5 years, is how that works. So was there any other questions on that update that I missed, or
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Taylor?
To my email group, I know I received 2 questions. One was regarding Section 2A, and one was regarding the 75%, so I hope that answers that. The 2A, I haven't, it was right before this meeting, so I'll bring you in on Mary. Sorry, it was Mary's email. She had a question regarding 2 words being added to 2A, but again, there's a public hearing notice, so you guys will also have additional time to make that comment. I'm just letting you know it's not falling on deaf ears.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Murray-Hill.
I just want to say thank you to the town attorney. He put a lot of effort in all the redlining and giving feedback and helping us work through this. And so I was very happy that Santa Fe liked my suggestion of cutting it down from the 10-pager that it was at. And then I think with this last version, the one that DFA approved this morning, and said that honestly we shouldn't really change it a whole lot. I mean, obviously there'll be some changes, but I was pretty happy with that, so that's something that I could support.
Thank you, Commissioner Murray-Hill. Any last comments? Anything else? Okay. Next item up is discussion and possible action to select an independent attorney to review the fire and EMS JP ordinance. I can tell you that I reached out, and the attorney that I talked to was unable to do it, but I understand Misty and Commissioner Taylor were working on an attorney that possibly could do this.
Yes, sir, that is correct. I did reach out to several attorneys and had several say no, but I did have one that was willing to take a look at it for us. He quoted us between 2 and 5 hours to review, because he's, of course, going to compare against the JPA and the historical data, and then look at the ordinance as well. His rate for that would be $300 between the 2 and 5 hour time frame, but he would be available to get that reviewed prior to the 16th.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Chair?
Commissioner Taylor.
Well, discussion possible. Never mind, I yield. I'll wait till discussion. Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Taylor.
I move to direct the town clerk and town manager to appoint the council Misty got a hold of for the specified amount and rough estimate of hours to review the ordinance as approved by the DFA in Santa Fe County and the town of Edgewood's attorney to confirm compliance as a third-party reviewer.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Muriel.
Before I second, we're going to confirm that this attorney doesn't have a conflict of interest, correct?
Correct. That'll be part of his practice when he takes us on as a client before we sign a contract.
All right, second.
Okay. Further discussion? Commissioner Taylor?
Completely blanked. I got the motion out. Hey, I think it's a good, it's $1,500, well, what'd you say, 300, 200, 600 to $1,500? I think it's a great insurance policy as a just in case.
Okay.
That's it.
Any further discussion? Okay. So, we don't need a roll call vote on this one. So, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it, motion carries. Thank you. Okay, up is item I, closed session. We'll need a roll call vote to go into, a motion to go into.
Mr. Chair.
Commissioner Muriel.
I move to enter closed session to discuss the listed exemptions on the agenda.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion before we go? If there's no discussion, please take the roll call vote.
Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Reardon?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, we're in closed session. Thank you. ready, gentlemen? We need a motion to return from
Chair.
closed session. Commissioner Brennan?
I move we come back in open session.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? Okay, clerk, please take the roll call vote to return back to closed session.
Regular session.
Commissioner
Regular
Brennan?
session.
Aye.
Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Reardon?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. So, Commissioner, we so affirm that only items listed on the agenda for closed session were discussed and no decisions were made. I so affirm.
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 Okay, thank you. And then action on closed session items as needed required.
Mr. Chair,
Commissioner Brennan.
I motion that we direct the town manager to assign a deputy clerk.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on deputy clerk? Okay, no discussion. Please take the roll call vote.
Commissioner Brennan?
Aye.
Commissioner Milligan?
Aye.
Commissioner Reardon?
Aye.
Commissioner Murillo?
Aye.
Commissioner Taylor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you. All right, future meetings. June 16th, 2026, special commission meeting. That's the one we're all been waiting for. June 23rd, 2026, regular commission meeting, and July 14th, 2026. For future events, we're just going to go over the big top, the two at the top here. Item G, team field trip, main event Thursday, June 25th, 2026 at 9 to 3. And also dumpster days, Saturday and Sunday, June 27th, 28th, 9 to 3 at the Edgewood Road. And all the rest are standard that you all can see on the future events section. And which takes us to item M, final comments by commissioners. Any final comments by commissioners? Okay, hearing none, need a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chair, move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, any discussion on adjournment? If not,